Hi, I'm Dr. R.G. Allen Wilson. You may recognize me as a leading relationship expert for TV programs such as CNN, The Today Show, Good Day Philly, Fox 29, Tamron Hall Show, Mel Robbins Show, and local and national radio shows, just to name a few. I want to invite you to a very awesome opportunity that will enhance your life. Having courageous conversations that connect is key for a healthy relationship with ourselves and others. Knowing the right strategies and techniques aren't as simple as we think. There are principles to understanding how we all think and feel. Right now, you can join in my free quarantine talks to learn what others spend thousands of dollars in therapy to know. Each day, while we are in quarantine at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can watch, listen, and learn tips that will help you get through this challenging time in our lives. Here's the good news. There is absolutely no cost for you to participate. Tune in on YouTube, Facebook, and the Gram at Ask Dr. RG. I look forward to seeing you join our crew, and that's connecting relationships for epic wins. Have a beautiful day on purpose, from my heart to yours. And good morning, everyone. I hope you all can hear me. This is RG, Dr. RG, in the Courageous Conversations Connect Space Quarantine Talks. This is Wednesday morning, July 22nd, 2020. And this is week 20 of quarantine. So good morning, BJ. Good morning, Mama Stokes. It's nice to see you all. Listen, we got a great show. And guess what? And good morning. Oh, Elizabeth, I saw your post this morning. So we got to talk about that, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining. It's Dr. Allen Wilson now. I remember when Elizabeth was my student and it was just Dr. Allen. Listen, we got a great show lined up for you today. All week, we are talking about decreasing fear factors. I gave you guys some assignments yesterday. Good morning, Stephanie. You can hear me loud and clear. Awesome. And so we're talking about decreasing fear factors. Something's got to give. And specifically today, we're talking about how do we prepare for the second wave. Remember, last week, we were talking about your grit, right? And are we gritty? How do we get gritty? And on Monday, when we were talking in our crew, we specifically were talking about the fight. What fight are you in? What are you fighting for? Who are you fighting with? And to stay in the fight. And I asked you all to think about your acronym for FIGHT, the fight. So I'm hoping that you all will do that. You already did that. And so you'll share what your acronym for fight is. And also, evidently, Morgan must trust me because he's out running some errands again and has got me here doing the hosting, the producing, and the directing. So y'all, my crew, Connecting Relationships for Epic Wins, y'all are going to have to help me out. Let me know if I'm doing an okay job again. I think this is, this is like the sort of implicit message about getting me more prepared to do these things. Talking about, are we prepared for the second wave? So since Morgan trusts me so much, hopefully you as my crew will help me out. I see you, Charlotte. Thanks for joining the show. Debbie, listen, for those of you who are new to the show, or if you're not, let other people know, tag a friend. This is our community give back. Share this video. And also go over to YouTube if you haven't done that and subscribe to our YouTube page. It's Ask Dr. RG. ASKDRARGIE. Hit the notification bell so that you get notifications of all of the content. We've got some great content for you all, and we want to make sure that you share this and that you put this information out there. So I am going to take a quick break. While I'm taking a break, I want you to make sure that you put in the chat who you're fighting. What's your fight, right? Are you fighting for it or against it? Who you're fighting with? What are you fighting for? Okay. Put that in the chat. Also think about who you're breathing for during this today's exercise. And we're going to take a quick break and come right back. If you know somebody that's on IG, we're not doing IG today because Morgan is running errands. So we usually use his equipment for that. So make sure that those persons who do IG come on over to the Facebook page as well as the YouTube page. All right. Stay with us. We will be right back. and this is Dr. RG here for the Courageous Conversations Connect space. Quarantine Talks, welcome to the show. We have Billy Joe here, Elizabeth, my student from Drexel, Nicole, Stephanie Morris, Stephanie Stewart, thank you for joining, welcome. Sharla, I see you, and I see Angie Holmes. So thank you all for joining. Again, we want to add to this platform, so give us a thumbs up if you can, give us a heart, a smiley face. Those help with the algorithms for sure. Also tag a friend, let people know that we're on this platform. Let people know that this is a safe place for you to have quarantine talks. We're building our crew, connecting relationships for epic wins. That's what CREW stands for. So listen, we talked about yesterday the fight. Thank you for my hearts. I see them. We talked about the fight, FIGHT. Who are you fighting for it? We've got to stay in the fight. We are in a fight, that's for sure. And who are you fighting for? Who are you fighting with? What's your acronym for fight? Yesterday, we kind of followed up from the previous week, and everybody shared their acronym for grit, right? If y'all don't remember my acronym for grit, am I gritty enough? What am I utilizing my grit for? Was gratitude and gracious, and then resilience, innovative, and tenacious, right? Those were my acronyms. So Elizabeth, I know you weren't on last week or yesterday. So if you can do that exercise and put it in the chat, think about, as we're talking, are you gritty? And utilize words that represent how you are utilizing your grit to help you. Also, we asked yesterday that you think about the fight. Are you in it, right? What are you fighting for? Who are you fighting with? And what the acronym for your fight stands for. Angie says, fighting for my family, my intentions, grace, human rights, and teaching. So that's her acronym for fight. I love it, FIGHT. Fighting for her family, intentions, grace, human rights, and teaching kindergartners. I didn't get that last part in there. Teaching kindergartners. Listen, I was watching a soror of mine who also teaches kindergartners, and she's I got to post her video. It was really, really excellent, and maybe we'll have her on the show as well in the next coming future weeks, if you will. But there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of anxiety around going back to school, whether you are sending your kids back to college or whether your kids need to go back to daycare or kindergarten or grade school or middle school or high school. There is still going to be a challenge because we are in this second wave, right? And this is why I entitled today, Preparing for the Second Wave. We're still in the first wave, by the way, guys, right? This hasn't changed. If anything, there's an uptick of hot spots because people have not been wearing their masks. They have not been social distancing, and they feel like the sun then sort of almost gives them permission to not abide by the guidelines. Well, let me just give y'all a news flash. The sun, right now, we need our vitamin D, but you can get sun and simultaneously be safe. Sun and safety go hand in hand, and the only way that you can have sun and safety, put your little, your sunscreen on and go out and do, have a socially distant engagement. We can do recreational activities and still keep ourselves safe at the same time and wear our mask. It's really, really important. Stephanie says it's hump day. Yes, Wednesday is hump day. Mama Stokes says, Nicole says, grateful for resilience and intentional tenacity. That was what her grit was for. Remember, and I love that, grateful for resilience and intentional tenacity. When we use these acronyms, the goal of the acronyms is to use it to fuel you, use it to create a foundation, use it to anchor you in the midst of whatever storm you're in the midst of this collision between these two viruses, COVID-19 and systemic racism, when we've got all of these super spreaders out there. Think about that, right? We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. We've got a whole bunch of super spreaders out there. And the acronym, not the acronym, the sort of, what's the word I want to use? The way in which this thing is working out, I guess maybe this divine order, if you will, is that the language is aligned and fits for both viruses, right? We've got to test and track and trace and then come up with some kind of treatment for the virus of COVID-19. But simultaneously, when you've got super spreaders, these people that are asymptomatic that are possibly spreading this virus, you don't even know that they're actually doing it, right? And then when we think also about, quite frankly, the super spreaders of systemic racism and social injustices and the inequities that have been built in this country, structured in a way to keep some people down and some people up, to keep some people oppressed and depressed and demoted, and some people promoted. We've got a lot of work to do, which is why I say that we've got to be preparing for the second wave. What does that look like? We're going to talk about that and unpack that all after we get through our exercise. I see Tamara on. Good morning, Tamara. Thanks for joining the show. If you guys are new to the show, please bring a friend, tag someone, let them know that we're here. This is our platform to create safe space. Morgan and I decided to do this 20 weeks ago. I want to say 20 months ago because it almost feels like that right about now. But 20 weeks ago, we were like, what can we do to give back to our community? And we came up with Courageous Conversations Connect Space Quarantine Talks. We all find ourselves in lots of different spaces, work spaces, in home spaces, and relationship spaces, professional spaces, our family spaces, even in the space in our own mental capacity, in our own mind. That's a space in and of itself. And so we wanted to create a safe space for all of us to have these conversations, these courageous conversations that allow us to unwind, allow us to process, allow us to decrease our fear and increase our faith. So that's where we're at. I see Tyrone, I think it's on, or at least Tamara is listing Tyrone, Lisa, Melvin. All right, thank you for that. So who are we praying and breathing for? Tamara's breathing for Tyrone, and Lisa, Melvin. I appreciate that. I am breathing. We're going to go into our breathing exercises. We're a little late with that, but we're going to go into our breathing exercises. And today, I want to breathe for, again, as we move into the second wave, all the essential workers. This is not over, y'all. We have already said this many, many, many times. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Those essential workers are out there literally putting their lives on the line. I am blessed that I get to be an essential worker and be safe from home and do my work. But what about the nurses and the doctors? What about the, UPS drivers and the FedEx drivers and the bus drivers and the grocery store workers and the pharmacists and the gate agents? I saw a video the other day of 3 women from Philadelphia who had gotten upset in Florida and began to assault the gate agents. I don't know what, for no other reason. I can't even think of a reason that would be behavior would be justified. But yet I know that we are sort of ticking time bombs. We, are our own personal tinder boxes, and the stressors are very, very high these days, right? And I feel like if we don't find ways to relieve the stress, to do the necessary things that we do on this show, then people are going to implode or explode. So this is why we start out with our breathing exercises. Tamara says, sorry, RG, I was inviting people to watch. Oh, gotcha. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, Tamara. And Charlotte says she's breathing for her aunt who's in a nursing home. So we cannot forget the seniors. It's been really, really hot. We've been in the middle of a heat wave. So don't forget about our seniors. If you all didn't tune in yesterday, I was asking, and I'm still asking, for anyone who knows someone that is over 90 to post their picture and a statement from them about what they would have to say to as an offering to us baby boomers, us millennials, us Gen Zs. What do those persons who have lived to be 90 years of young have to say to us about how you hold on, how you manage, how you not give up, how you find your faith and your peace and your serenity in the midst of a storm? So post those on my the Ask Dr. RG Facebook page so that we can put together, I want to put together like a little collage of all of these beautiful men and women that are 90 plus years old and what their words of wisdom are that they have to say to us. Larissa's on. Good morning, Larissa. She said she's breathing for Black women mayors. I love it. I just posted something about my soror, Keisha Lance Bottoms. Stand with her tomorrow, I think between 11 and noon. They're asking everyone to stand with her because she's in a fight with the governor about her position of making sure that everybody wear masks, right? But wear a mask to keep yourself safe and to keep other people safe. Why do we have to be in a fight about that? Nicole says she's breathing for Lisa Rollins Dillon. You love this morning's ritual. Awesome, awesome. All right, so let's get in our positions, guys. Get your back straight. Relax yourself. Move your torso, get a little bit more relaxed, if you will. I want you to put your middle finger to your thumb, okay? Or put one hand over the next hand and on your lap, or your two hands by your side. And as we do every morning, we breathe. We breathe for ourselves. We breathe oxygen in and carbon dioxide out, but we also breathe in peace and hope and love and serenity and faith. And we breathe out fear and worry and frustration and anger. And I want you all to do this throughout the day as well. When you think about the show, when you think about Quarantine Talks, breathe that oxygen in. So many people are having difficulty doing that. If they're getting COVID-19, it's affecting their respiratory system. So we breathe in for anybody that's in the hospital right now as well. Elizabeth says she's breathing for her children as they have no choice to take them back to daycare as she works and prepares for her dissertation defense next month. I'm breathing for all children struggling with parents. And we'll be praying for you with your dissertation next month as well. Debbie says she's breathing for Breonna Taylor's family and loved ones. Kimberly's on. Good morning, Kimberly. And Tamara is breathing for teachers and students and parents as we transition back to school. All right, sounds good. Let's go. Under the sound of my voice, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to breathe in through our nose, hold it for 8 seconds, and out through the mouth. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in. And out. Breathe in through the nose. Feel that in your belly. And out. Breathe in. And out. Last time, make it count, crew. Breathe in. And out. That felt good in your belly, right? So continue to do that throughout the day. Anytime you feel tense, tap into wherever the tension is in your mind, in your body, in your torso. Tap into it and then begin your breathing exercises to bring, your neurons, down, right? This affects the parasympathetic nervous system. And so we know that there are hormones that are swirling through our bodies, and it actually brings the cortisol levels down and the adrenaline levels down. And it elevates sometimes your oxytocin and your dopamine, as well as your serotonin. All right. So today we're going to talk about decreasing fear factors. Something's got to give, right? And how do we deal with that with regards to our lives and our relationships? We're preparing for the second wave. Tell me what y'all have been seeing out there. I am a proponent of not watching all of these videos all day and not watching the news all day, because I don't think that it helps for our mental health. But I do think that we need to know what's going on. And when I say something's got to give, what I mean is that each of us is responsible for doing the necessary things to decrease the anxiety in our own lives, in our own bodies, so that we can prepare for the second wave. As I always say, my good friend Jean Austen Jefferson said, fear and faith cannot reside in the same space. But yesterday we talked about the acronym for fear, and it could stand for forget everything and run, or face everything and remain. And we're all going to have fear. Fear can be a sign. It can be very much a warning signal that something's up, that something's happening, and something is definitely happening in the zeitgeist. I certainly believe that this design and this divine intervention around these two pandemics of COVID-19 and systemic racism has gotten our attention. It definitely has gotten my attention. I don't know about you all. And so since it's gotten our attention, and since this is an opportunity now to figure out, well, what are we going to do with all of this? What are we going to do? And how do we prepare? Kids are preparing for going back to school. As I heard Elizabeth say, she's working on her dissertation, and her children are going back to school so that because she has to work. How do you then prepare yourself, mind, body, and spirit, all connected for this second wave while you're in the first wave? I want y'all to think about that. Just visualize. For many people, they're at the beach. Visualize if you were in the water and you were at the beach and a wave hit you hard. How would you stabilize yourself in order to prepare for that second wave? Physically, you'd have to plant your feet solid on the ground. You'd have to mentally, get yourself ready for when that second wave is coming at you. You'd have to get some clarity so that you could see what's about to happen. And you'd have to make a decision. Are you going to stand there and fight that wave? Are you going to fight through it? Are you going to swim through it? Or are you going to go in the opposite direction and seek ground? Well, that's very much like what's happening now. When we're thinking about the second wave, the fall is coming quicker than we realize. We are now in mid-July. August will come here, boom, we'll snap our fingers and it's gone. And then we will be in the fall. Well, you know what happens in the fall? It's hurricane season and flu season. Guess what? Those things don't change because we now have this new virus called COVID-19, or this new coronavirus, novel coronavirus, of which they have no vaccine for. Those other things are not going to change. And so we have to prepare for that. And there's some things that we actually can do to stay in this fight, FIGHT. I want to read some things because I see Kimberly's on and Megan's on. Thanks for joining the show. Kimberly says, I choose to keep the TV off yesterday and was actually far more productive and found myself moving at a slower, calmer pace. Absolutely. That is one thing that we can do to prepare for the second wave. Imagine if everyone turned the TV off. If you didn't get, you get your alerts, but don't watch every video that comes your way. You can be the curator of your own life and your well-being by putting on your oxygen mask and then managing all of the information and energy that is coming your way, that is being deposited in you. You can boundary and put up some barriers to some of that so that you protect your peace. Nicole says, folks are walking through the streets on Martha's Vineyard without masks. Socially distancing is not in practice here. It's frustrating and disturbing. I know, Nicole, I don't understand it. I really don't. I do think that people create the reality that is in their own heads that really is not based on the overall reality. And quite frankly, I just think, to be honest with you, people are selfish and they're self-absorbed and they're not concerned about other people until it hits home. Those will be the same people, unfortunately, for all those medical health professionals out there, nurses and doctors. They'll be the same people that will be flooding the ER when they're sick or their loved one is sick, and having to deal with the enormous guilt of knowing that they could potentially have been the super spreader that contracted this virus and then spread it or shared it with someone that they love, that they could potentially literally kill. I don't get it. But what I do know for sure is that we're the only ones that can be responsible for our own selves. And so for you, Nicole, I know that you're socially distancing. I know that you're being responsible. I know that you're doing your due diligence for the people around you. Just keep the faith, stay focused. Do not lose focus on what it is that you need to do for yourself and your family. Megan says, hey guys, I live in Detroit. My contract is ending in Tennessee because they are trying to force people to come on site. It sucks, especially when I can do my work from anywhere, but my peace is more important. I'm confident another opportunity that's remote will come through. Great for you, Megan. Yes, absolutely. And I would say that for anyone. To be honest, I do understand. And I said this in the very beginning when we started 20 weeks ago. If we stay healthy, if we continue to do the necessary things that are very simple, wearing a mask, right? Heck, I want to say hell. I guess I could say that on this show, right? It's my show. Hell, we walk out with our invisible mask every day. People are we've done that for years, putting your mask on, smiling when you're not happy, telling people that everything is okay when it's not. And so now people want to buck up against not wearing these physical masks that could actually save our lives. So if you're feeling uncomfortable going back to work, if you are feeling uncomfortable sending your kids back to school because kids are they don't have the wherewithal to social distance, I encourage you to be innovative and think outside the box. Right? Elizabeth was talking about her kids going back to school. There are actually programs where you can actually hire an au pair to come here, sometimes from another country, or sometimes they're already in this country, and they can live in if you have space for them, and then take care of your kids inside the home. I recommended that for my niece, who's both she and her husband are teachers, and they're thinking about what are they going to do if they have to go back to school. So by all means, for all of us, we've got to be innovative. That's what I mean when I say fight. Fight for it. Fight for your very life. Fight for the life of your children. Fight for the life of your families. Do the necessary things to keep yourself safe, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Tamara says inner strength to be able to fight and stand firm. Exactly. Just what I'm talking about. That inner strength that we have to keep ourselves safe. Denise says, I'm praying for baby King Hill that was murdered. We talked about that, Denise, yesterday. And I'm remiss because, yes, I was breathing for baby King Hill and his family. And I'm also praying that the person or persons that are responsible for baby King's death get exactly what they deserve, right? That they get to be put away for the rest of their lives, put away, paying the price of taking a baby. You took a life, you need to give your life. For me, there's no other way to pay that price as far as I'm concerned when you take the life of a baby. And that's for the other 6 children, by the way. Last week, July 4th weekend, there were 6 babies that were shot by drive-by shootings. So we're praying and breathing for those families as well. So listen, when I say, guys, something's got to give, when I say that we need to be preparing for the second wave, when I say that we've got to put our oxygen mask on first, I don't mean just figuratively. I mean literally. So here's the time where we begin to tell our stories. And Mama Stokes shared a little bit, Nicole, about what's going on in Martha's Vineyard. Megan lives in Detroit. There are people that are working remotely, but their jobs are trying to either force them to go back to their place of employment when they don't have to, because clearly we know that people have proven over the last 6 months that they can work from home. And quite frankly, I think people are being more productive at home than they would have been going into the workforce or into a brick and mortar office space. Think about it. You don't have the same travel time. I've actually had to tell my clients, you have to have a hard stop, because I had clients that were working through till 6 and 7 and 8 and 9. And before you know it, they were putting in 10-hour days just sitting at their computer. So you do have to balance that and have a hard stop, if you will, for the work life as well as, your home life or your relational life. Let's go back and revisit a few things while you all think about, quite frankly, what's your fight, and think about what is it that you're going to do or that you need to do to prepare yourselves. Here's the thing about planning. I believe that people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. I want to say that again. People don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. So what does that mean? It means that there are no coincidences when we have these things. There's divine intervention, absolutely. But when things shake out, usually the people that are most prepared are the people that are able to mitigate the blows. They don't have to absorb as much of the fallout, which impacts our mental health and our physical health and our spiritual health, right? So if you're able to plan and you're able to say, okay, let me create some clearing here. I've been on this crew. We've been riding this thing for a while, guys, our crew, Connecting Relationships for Epic Wins, right? What that means is that we believe that we are all destined to win, and we can win this thing even in the middle of this storm of two pandemics. But it requires that we plan, we plot, we mobilize, we strategize, and then we move forward with a tactical plan of action. That's why in the book, Courageous Conversations Connect, in every single week, I give people a call to action, right? You have a courageous conversation, then you have a call to action where I give you a list of things that you can actually do, and then you journal them, because I want people to begin to lean into the power that they have within inside of them. Megan says, way more productive working from home. I can make my lunch at home. I can work out during the day. I light sage when the job is being petty. Laugh out loud. I love it. And I get free therapy with you guys. I love it, because listen, I don't take that lightly. I'm going to receive all of that, right? As Denise is on, and Tamara and Kimberly, Harry and Megan, Nicole, Deborah, Foster is on, as well as Debbie Pearson, Elizabeth, Larissa, Charla, Angie, Stephanie Stewart, Debbie Pearson, BJ. I don't take this lightly that you all sign on with us every single day. Well, not every day, it was every single day. And then we had some other stuff. So it's Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 10 a.m. I don't take that lightly. This was our community give back. It continues to be our community give back. And the more that you all sign on, the more it helps us. The more you give us a thumbs up, give us the hearts, give us the smiley faces. It helps us with our algorithms. And the more you tell other people, tag a friend, share this video. Other people, and they may not be able to be on Monday at 10 o'clock or Wednesday or Thursday. But if you tell them, hey, let me share this video. This is something that Dr. RG talked about a little bit earlier today. Something's got to give. She's got a week-long program where she's talking about decreasing fear factors. And today we talked specifically about how do you deal with something's got to give? How do you prepare for that second wave? Share this. This is not meant for us to hold it to ourselves. It's meant for us to share this information so that other people benefit from it. Hey, Ty is on my little brother. I so appreciate you. Ty says, part of my self-care is staying away from negative energy. Number one, love it. That includes negative TV coverage, but staying present in my reality and walking by faith, not circumstances. It's important not to allow ourselves to be trapped in fear, but to live life every day by faith and to live life according to my self-care work plan. And that's an ongoing practice that I put into play. It's how I stay emotionally safe in the midst of all of this chaos. I love it. I love it. Here's why I love that so much. And thank you for sharing this story. I want other people to share. If you are in this space where you're trying to prepare for this second wave, but you really haven't stabilized yourself from the first wave, right? Because we're still right in the middle of this first wave, depending on where you live. And there's hot spots kind of sprouting up both in Arizona and LA. There's hot spots in Florida. Governor Cuomo has done the darn thing because their numbers are really down. But there's hot spots in other places. If you feel like you're still trying to stabilize yourself, help us to understand what could be helpful. We want to continue to do healthy programming for everyone in our crew. And perhaps even in this hour, we can be doing some things to tweak so that we can tap into the areas where you are struggling. Lisa's on. Thank you for joining, Lisa. She says, definitely less stress working from home, balancing tons of more things during the day between work, school, and my business. But the stress level has totally decreased, not having to deal with traffic and people all day. I tend to listen to uplifting music throughout the day and minimize TV. I love, love, love that, Lisa. Continue to do that. And Kimberly says, I've had to scale back slightly on helping others because I was losing myself and not taking care of Kimberly. Love all of that. All of that completely makes sense. Remember, in the very beginning of this, we talked about your SSR plan. So for those of you who are new to the platform or who are just signing on, y'all remember the SSR plan, right? The SSR plan was your safety care plan, your self-care plan, and your relational care plan. Y'all remember that, right? And when I talked about the safety care plan, I was like, sit down with your family. This is what we need to do to prepare for our second wave. You need to sit down with yourself and say, am I in this first wave? Did I do everything that I needed to do to help me to grow through to the other side of this? What did I learn about myself? What did I learn about the people that I'm most connected to? What did I learn in terms of my grit, right? My bandwidth, if you will. And how can I use those things to mitigate going into the second wave? How do I tweak the safety care plan, right? Part of that safety care plan was thinking through, as Tyrone said, and many others, Lisa, what is it that you can do a little bit less of? Can you lessen the TV? Can you lessen the videos that you're getting? Can you lessen the negative energy? Can you listen to music? We talked about the 4 M's, the mindfulness, the meditation, the movement, the meaningful engagement, and the music. All that could be your safety care plan. Also, who is your person? If you should have to go to the hospital or someone that you love and you can't be in the hospital to advocate, do you have a list of medications that you're on, information that the hospital would need? Are your gadgets charged up, right? If the electricity should go out, we went and got some lanterns because we did have that happen to us where the electricity went out for the entire day and night and we didn't have any light. So we got some things like our safety care plan for ourselves and for our family members that would help us. Do you have enough wipes? This thing is coming back. Not only do we need to have, a stack of masks and Lysol and wipes and your bleach or what have you, but you need to have flashlights and lanterns and making sure maybe you have an extra charger or so. Those are the things that we can share with each other that are easy to do now when things, if you're not in a hot spot, things are a little bit calmer. But then as you go into your self-care plan, as many of you have already mentioned, please share. What are you doing to take care of yourself? Are you lessening your are you creating positive energy? Are you focusing more on yourself so that you can fuel up in order to be able to help other people? Also, look out for your seniors in the midst of this heat wave, but look out for the strong ones. I got to tell you, being one of those persons myself, I know only too well what it feels like when no one reaches out because everybody thinks you're okay. Reach out to the strong ones. And if you are that person, be okay with asking for help. Be selective about the people in your core circle that can help you to really move into a healthier space. And then protect your peace for sure. Debbie says, I am thinking about my fight. My grit reminders are to be generous with my spirit, responsible, introspective, and try. Just keep trying. I love that, Debbie. And as you continue to think about your fight, think about what you're fighting. Are you fighting with someone or for someone? And how are you using that fight? Billy Joe says, no excuses. Get up and walk, stretch, and move. Take a mental break to reset your minds. And now, no matter how early, late, or hot it is, get up and move. No excuses. I love it. And Benika's on. Hey, Benika. I'm definitely that person. I'm assuming, Benika, you're talking about the strong one, right? My hunch is that there are a lot of crew members here connecting relationships for epic wins that are the strong one, right? This is why we created this platform. We created it for you. We created it for the people, quite frankly, that might not have as many people to talk to, or might not feel compelled to ask because people have let you down or disappointed you, or have not, thought that you needed anything, if you will. Well, we're here. We're here and we're lifting each other up together, right? This is about supporting one another and affirming one another so that we, quite frankly, can be stronger together as we decrease our fear factors, right? And as we prepare for the second wave. So tell me your story. I want to hear how you're using your fight. Remember, fight for me stands for forgiveness, my intention, right? My good and God intention, being a grateful giver of humanity, and then treating myself well, right? Treating myself well. And if you all, for those of you who are new to this platform, we talk about slack. Cut yourself some slack. If you haven't heard that acronym, you're hearing it now. Those of you who've been on, you've heard it before. It really is when you're dealing with this trauma, when you're dealing with the chaos, when you're dealing with the storm, we got to cut ourselves some slack. Slack stands for show up, how you're showing up, right? Showing up as this person that has all of these wonderful gifts, but also how you listening, learning, and leading. How do you listen first to yourself and to others, and then learn what you need to learn so that you can lead the charge into this second wave? Then how do you acknowledge, whether you're acknowledging if you are dealing with the impact of COVID-19 or the impact of systemic racism, whether you're a black and brown person or whether you're a white person, whether you're Native American, how do you acknowledge the trauma that we've all been through together, right? And then how do you acknowledge how far you've grown? And then are you committed? That's really key. That's probably why the biggest reason I think why many people are not wearing masks and socially distancing. They didn't commit to it in the very beginning. They didn't say, like, we're in it for the long haul. Like, we as a part of this crew, we said, this is a marathon. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. We're in it to win it. And we're going to grow through this together and be stronger on the other side of it. But you have to commit. I believe that was Denzel Washington that said, if you're not committed, you'll never start. If you're not disciplined, you'll never finish. If you're not committed, you'll never start. And if you're not disciplined, you'll never finish. So commit to it. And then finally, this is really, really key. I can't underscore this enough. Are you kind to yourself? Are you doing the necessary things to be kind? That means cutting yourself some slack and being kind with your stinking thinking, with the negative messages that you give yourself, being kind to yourself in the way in which you treat your mind, body, and spirit. As BJ said, no excuses. Get busy, get working, do the necessary things to put your oxygen mask on first so that you can be better, of course, not bitter. And then as you're kind to yourself, then it allows you to be kind to other people. And even if that means you got to take a time out because you're a little bit edgy or you're a little bit frustrated, that's okay. We all have been there. We all gotten to the place where we're a little agitated. It's a heat wave out there in the middle of a pandemic. You know, Mama Stokes, Nicole's walking around seeing people with no mask, or healthcare workers are putting themselves on the line, yet they're seeing videos of people that are having parties because they can't be bothered to be innovative and find healthy ways to social distance. So it's real. Megan says, show up, listen and lead, acknowledge, commit, and be kind. Yes. And Larissa says, I replace fear by expressing love to others. This show is refreshing and informative to me. I appreciate that, Larissa. Listen, think about your stories. Think about how you're using the fight. If you came on later, make sure we ask you, all we want from you is to share this post, tag a friend, invite someone to come onto this platform, to the show. This is Connecting Relationships for Epic Wins. This is our crew, Courageous Conversations Connect Space, Quarantine Talks. We just ask that you share it. Go onto our YouTube page, Ask Dr. RG, ASKDRARGIE. subscribe to it so that we can have more followers there, so we can put out more content. Hit the notification bell. Let other people know that we are here. We are here for you. So as you think about your story, as you think about your fight, and by the way, do not forget, if you know someone that is over 90, we want to hear from you. On the Ask Dr. RG Facebook page, share their picture and share a statement from them. Call them up right now, like right after the show. Ask them what they have to say about what we need to know as baby boomers, as millennials, as Gen Zs, about the struggle that we're having of dealing with our fears and anxieties due to COVID-19, as well as the systemic racism. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back. Y'all tell me how I'm doing as the host, as the producer today, and as the director, because my fearless leader, business partner, love of my life husband has left me to fend for myself. So I am working hard. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Are you sometimes feeling out of sync and you don't know why? Do you ever feel like you just need to talk with someone about your circumstances? Dr. RG has provided professional therapy to thousands of individuals, families, and couples just like you. No longer do you have to believe there is nothing you can do. Having a therapist and coach to help you process what you feel is what you need. Dr. RG is known for working with marriages and couples to develop the skills to have courageous conversation and incredible transformation in their lives. Schedule an appointment today. Call 215-789-6999. Dr. RG is healing families one relationship at a time and transforming relationships one courageous conversation at a time. Schedule your appointment today.
And this is Dr. RG, yours truly, from the Courageous Conversations Connect Space Quarantine Talks. And thank you for joining, guys. Thank you for being a part of our crew, Connecting Relationships for Epic Wins. Denise is on. She says this show is directing us in the right direction. So we do the right thing for ourselves and others at a time of crisis. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And Michael's on. Thank you. You're doing great. Didn't see a difference. That's so funny. Thank you. So the reason why I laughed, Michael, is you said you didn't see a difference, and I thank you for that, and I received that. But I got to tell you, I'm sweating up, so I feel the difference. And my husband, he's out there doing some things for our family, and so he needed to be on the move today. I think he's watching from afar, so I hope that he will be proud that you all are thinking that I'm doing a good job and you didn't see a difference. I felt a difference. I feel it when he's not here behind the scenes doing the directing and the producing. And even though we have some clashes sometimes around that kind of stuff, I really do appreciate all the things that he does, not only to make this show a success, but all the things that he does as a partner to me to elevate our brand and elevate our mission. Our goal is to heal families and relationships and individuals, couples and corporations, one courageous conversation at a time. And I quite frankly, I said this to him, and I'm going to say this publicly to you all. I wouldn't want to be in a quarantine with anybody but him. I can't even imagine what this would be like if I didn't have my husband and my business partner to walk this journey with me. And so, you know, I know that everyone does not have this as a part of their lives. I'm acutely aware because I do this clinical work every single day. You all just saw a commercial. If you're looking or you or someone else is looking for therapy, even if I can't help per se, you give me a call. I can walk you through the process and then see if I can be of help. And if I can't be of help directly, then maybe I refer you. But we try very, very hard to try to meet the needs of those persons who might be struggling during this particular time. The number is 215-789-6999. And you can reach us at contact us at Connections Matter LLC. Nicole says, "You are winning, Dr. RG." You know what? I thank you so much. I got this crazy laugh, and I think that, it's just never changed. It's just outrageous laugh, but you all make my heart smile when you all are telling me I'm doing a good job. Treasure says you're doing a fabulous job. Thank you so much, Treasure. It's good to see you on the platform, on the show, and please tell your family that I said hello. Denise says the show is directing us to I read that one before. Oh, BJ said, I'm doing a great job. Thank you, BJ. Helen is on. Thank you for joining. Angie says, I'm doing a great job. And Michael says, praise God for Morgan. He is a good man. He absolutely is. He is a great man. So listen, when I was thinking about this show for the debt for this week and the concept of decreasing fear factors and something's got to give, I was thinking about just the test, right? I was thinking about, what do we do when we're being tested? Anybody ever been tested before? I was taught that, tests are meant to teach us something, and every test is meant to become a testimony of some sort, right? Otherwise, it's not necessarily, you're not using it to the capacity that you could use this test. And we're all having tests right now. Helen says, I'm grateful for your daily broadcast, especially today. Thank you so much, Helen. Charlotte says, you're doing an awesome job. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you. We can't do this without you. And so thank you for that, Charlotte. And Debbie says, it's a lovely laugh. So nice to hear someone laugh right now. I agree. Laughter is really good. And I gotta tell you, sometimes I feel like I don't laugh enough. And I had said to myself in this last week, I'm going to start having that belly ache laugh that I used to have, specifically because, that's just me. There's multiple sides to all of us. We're not just one dimensional. And because of the work that I do every single day, it's very detailed mental health work. And I find that I'm not laughing nearly enough. So I started looking at TikTok and watching a few memes. And of course, Morgan is hilarious. So he sometimes keeps me laughing. But that there's something about laughing that impacts the parasympathetic nervous system and starts releasing some of those good hormones like the oxytocin and the dopamine and the serotonin. And so if that is not a part of your regimen, find ways to integrate laughter into your daily regimen. Let's see. Nicole says, yay, my friend Teresa is watching with us this morning. Teresa, please come back every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Thank you so much, Teresa and Mom and Nicole, for inviting. Please do that, you guys. Invite folks onto the platform. That's what this is all about. It's about spreading the word. Charlotte says, laughing is good for the soul. It absolutely is. If tears are good for the soul, so is laughing. It's two sides to the same coin. Sometimes we laugh to keep from crying, or sometimes we laugh and we're crying at the same time. Jen says, your laugh is very contagious. I find eating sugar makes me laugh my guts out. It's medicine. Absolutely. Now, I try to decrease my sugar intake a little bit. I do some healthy things like agave and some natural things to decrease that sugar, if you will. But yes, absolutely. Laughter is good medicine. Karen says, there hasn't been much to laugh about lately, so we have to be deliberate to find reasons to laugh. That's exactly what I'm talking about, especially when you're watching the surges and you're watching the information about the second wave, and you're watching people actually not be compliant with the mask and social distancing, knowing that they're going to be contributing to the overload of the hospital system when they actually do get sick based on these super spreaders. And then, of course, when you're watching people being gunned down, the level of violence that is going on in our communities, both at the hands of ourselves and at the hands of other people that are supposed to protect us, like the men and women in blue, shooting unarmed Black and brown people. And yes, we know they shoot white people as well, but the disparity is, speaks for itself. And so when we're seeing all that and we're digesting it and we're absorbing it, we have to find releases. Pressure burst pipes, and every pressure point needs a relief valve. Remember that. Pressure burst pipes, and every pressure point needs a relief valve. And so that relief valve may be just finding a way to just smile, finding a way to be a smile to someone else, finding a way to laugh about something. in a way that helps you to release. Debbie says, I know when I and my husband are okay is when we start whistling and singing. Awesome. That's awesome, Debbie. And Denise says, Dr. RG, you are truly helping us in so many ways and bring us through these days of trouble. Wonderful. That speaks to my heart. There is a great philosopher, I think his name was Usher. I'm being kind of tongue in cheek with that. But he did say something, and I squirrel away little messages from people, even from people that you least expect it from. And so he said one day, I think one of his posts, he said, the greatest thing that we can do on this planet when we're here is that we can give to humanity with our heart's work. And if it's your heart's work, then it's not hard work. And so even when I'm tired, guys, for our crew at the end of the night, because today is going to be a long day, when I transition from you guys, I will go into my clinical day starting at 12, and I'll be rocking and rolling probably until like 9 this evening, seeing clients all day. But by the way, it's my heart's work. So when it's my heart's work, I don't find it as hard work. I find that I am on this planet to do this work and help people heal in a very, very difficult time. So I thank you for that, and I appreciate you. Jen is on. She says, happy birthday Eve to me. After this evening, I'm off for a few days to unwind. Happy birthday, Eve, Jen. Enjoy your birthday. You are truly a beautiful soul. And I appreciate you all, you being on our platform. And I appreciate just all the little kind messages that you leave me. I don't take that lightly. Nobody has to be kind, although I think it's a better thing it's a helpful thing to be kind. But when you are, I appreciate you for that. Jessica's on. She says, thank you, Dr. RG, for all you are and all you do. Well, thank you all, everyone. Listen, as we transition, one of the things I want you all to do is I want you to make sure that you're kind to yourself. I want you to make sure you put your oxygen mask on first. Make sure you breathe. Make sure you call your seniors during this heat wave. Remind them to drink water. Make sure that they have proper ventilation. If they don't, and you have some resources, just go on Amazon and order a fan for them. We found these great fans at Costco's, I think it is. They weren't that expensive. And Morgan actually went and picked one up for my dad, and he loves it. All he keeps saying is, I love this fan. Did you know this fan is an oscillating fan? I was like, yeah, Dad, I knew the fan was an oscillating fan. He's like, and it rotates, and it's such a nice looking fan. You don't even know a small gesture like that, if you can do it, how much that helps someone that you love. And we bought my dad a new bike too, and he's enjoying. So he's like, do you know I'm sitting on my bike, getting my reps in with my oscillating fan? He loves saying oscillating. So whatever you do, give an act of kindness, call someone, share the love, smile, give a bellyache laugh, not because we're not taking what's happening in the world seriously. We are. People don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. So we do have to prepare for the second wave. But while we're preparing for the second wave, we do need to be kind to ourselves. Charlotte says to Jen, happy birthday. Jen says, this is why my job as a deacon is God's calling for me. And I absolutely appreciate you. We are family. Yes, we are. Larissa says, happy birthday, Jen. So you got lots of shout outs, Jen, in terms of happy birthday. We are prayerful for you that you have a wonderful birthday. Take the time off. We know that you're an essential worker and that you're out there doing God's work. And so we want to make sure that we breathe and pray for you and all of the other people. Tomorrow, when we come on, remember, we're still talking about decreasing fear factors and something's got to give. But specifically tomorrow, we're going to be talking about how you talk to your children. So if you have young people or teenagers and they're home, bring them onto the platform. We want them to be a part of this discussion as well. And we're actually going to have some exercises to help teach you how you talk to your teenagers, how you talk to your children, how you talk to your young adults about preparing for the second wave, because there's been a little bit of a difficulty, like a barrier in terms of the gap of communicating with young people. So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. And as we move into our day, remember, we love you. Morgan and I love our crew. We thank God for you in this space, and there's nothing that you can do about it. So if somebody hasn't told you that they love you, know that you are loved by us, You are loved by this crew, and there's nothing you can do about it. All right. So that's all I got for now. Have a beautiful day on purpose from my heart to yours, and I will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Be kind to yourself, guys. We love you. Thank you for all the love. Benika said, love you back. All right. Bye-bye.